Good morning. I'm thank you. Very glad to be here with you today. So thank you for this invitation. Thank you for this opportunity for me to discover your beautiful country. That's a real pleasure. So when I prepared this presentation, I said to myself that it could be very interesting to have a look at the web smart map. Yeah, that's it. And I will present you this morning 3 points. The first one is about the fact that it's really important to give good information to good people. And we'll see later how we try to adapt our production to this publics. The second point is about the fact that when you have a lot of things to share with public, the way you communicate is also really important. So we will see that finally website can be a good tool to do that. And the last point, because we speak about current trends and perspectives, is about the fact that more and more we want to provide more operational information to stakeholders, to job seekers. Okay. Okay, thank you. So, with other words, 3 parts, and information tailored to each audience needs, a provision of personalized information via the web, and better guide job seekers and adapt our service offer. For this first point, I would tell you that we currently produce really more and more productions because we want to target groups. And these different target groups can be partners, employers, politicians, managers, and of course we have some specific production templates if you want to monitoring the labor market, summarized so as to work on specific public publication. When you want to analyze in depth the labor market situation can be very interesting, but you know, job seekers don't care about these publications. They want more operational information on labor markets. So we have also labor market information tools that are dedicated to job seekers. And we also have some presentation supports for instance, for our managers. We try to prepare the presentation support before they go to deliver their speech. And we try to facilitate their life by this way. So, various productions for various target groups. And finally, we tried on this production with complementary approaches. Short-term approaches, the first one, when you want to analyze your labor market trends. In this case, you use several indicators about information that define the last economical context. You can also work on your structural approach because we need to know our different sector of activity or different publics that we deal with. And that's why we have a lot of themes that are analyzed. I can give you just an example because I don't want to explain all these things. But when we look at the temporary jobs, that is something very important for us because that's an advanced indicator for employment when the temporary jobs raise suddenly, you can think that employment will follow in the next 2 months. So we have also other standard approaches, for instance, with templates, and we provide main figures for the standard areas. That's really important to have these productions every month for different kind of publics. And of course, we also do the same for specific approaches for vulnerable groups, for instance, as disabled people. We talk about this specific public yesterday. We do the same for fields of activities as personal services, for instance. And of course, we try to have a vision of local situation with inter-community results. So we produce every month, so as to give you an example, if you want to work on 3 municipalities, our agencies ask us so as to have a template for these 3 municipalities. So we aggregate results for these 3 municipalities, and after every month, we will be about to provide automatically these results. That was my first point. My second one is about the provision of personalized information via the web. And of course, we got a national service offer that is accessible to all. I wanted to show you 2 websites. The first one is named Job Market. That is a website to know professions that recruit. That's really simple for job seekers because you got a map, you click on this map, and this website proposes you the job offers in your area. And you have a possibility to apply online. That's really convenient. And just since last year, we have added job boards vacancies to our websites. That's a free partnership. And when job seekers apply on a job offer on this website, is redirected on the job board website. Another example is about the Emploi store. Emploi means employment in French. That is a website with digital employment services. And we have 4 main themes on this website. These websites are dedicated to job seekers. So you can choose a job, self-train, or prepare your candidature or find a job. That's the main themes that we can find on this website. And there are some exercises like e-learning, serious game, or virtual interview that are really interesting for job seekers. These services are totally free, of course, and these services are mostly dedicated to autonomous job seekers, like high qualified job seekers or young, of course. You know, these publics were not satisfied about our service offer, and that's why we created this specific website so as to answer to their needs. And because that's increasingly more and more important, we developed a local service offer, and we create in the various regions of France, we create regional employment observatories. I can speak about my own observatories. It's a website that you can access that's totally free, and you can have 2 ways to access to information by geographical research or thematic research. And you can cross these 2 researches. We try to customize the service offer with the creation of personalized pages. Sorry. That's really interesting to work with these dedicated pages, because when you work with your partner, that's a good way to build a partnership by providing information that are really dedicated to partner needs, and partners can find this information on these dedicated pages. So that's another point that I wanted to show you, is the fact that we release templates for Pôle Emploi. Pôle Emploi is my company, the French National Employment Service. We release information for Pôle Emploi agents 15 days before the date of releasing for general publics. By this way, our managers are always aware about this information before other publics or other partners. That was really important for them when we created this website. They have just to log in and to fill out their login and password. And of course, we have a newsletter on a monthly basis. Okay. The last part is about better guide job seekers and adapt our service offer. So we have launched a labor market needs survey since 2002. And that's a good way for us to have additional knowledge of employer needs. And in fact, that's the opportunity to anticipate changes on the labor market. In fact, we ask employers if they want to recruit among a list of 200 professions. And there is only 3 questions for this survey. That's really simple. Among this list of 200 professions, do you think you will recruit for the coming year? And how many recruitment do you intend to do? Do you think that you will have some difficulties to recruit? And can you precise if these recruitment are linked to seasonal activity? Only 3 questions, but a lot of things that we can deal with these results. So that's a good way for us to provide a better idea of the intentions of companies in terms of recruitment, difficulty, and seasonality. And results are available at local level by profession, activity sectors, and size of company. Because we want to work at local level, I mean, we want to answer and meet local expectations. So we need to survey a lot of firms. So every year we survey about 1.6 million of firms. You know, in France, that's a big survey. And results are available by profession, crossing by area. So we have information like the share of establishment intent to recruit, the number of recruitment forecasts, and the share of recruitment projects that are reported as difficult to achieve, and the share of seasonal recruitment intentions. And all these results by profession and by area in France. This other slide is about the employment recovery rate. That's really something that we use increasingly. That's a tool for better guide job seekers. And in fact, we cross different files. Our Pôle Emploi, that is my company, French National Employment Service, Pôle Emploi files, with other file. We call that in France DPAE. That's an administrative file of pre-employment declaration. And that's an obligation for employer to declare before hiring their intent of recruitment. So that's a more operational way for us to give information by profession and orientate job seekers on in-demand professions. That's a good way for us to communicate about the efficacy of our training session, because we look at the employment recovery rates 6 months after the end of the training session. And that's a good way for us to raise awareness about necessity to deliver a personalized provision for the public that are the most in difficulties. I think about seniors' situation on labor markets is not the same if you are a long-term unemployed people or not, because you know if you haven't worked for a while, that will be very difficult to come back and to return to employment. So with these kind of results, we adapt our services to that public. Last point for this presentation, we measure and report on this, the effectiveness of our actions. I mean, more and more we try to innovate, find new ways to guide job seekers and work with companies. Of course, we innovate and we want to ascertain if these innovations are good or not. So we launch evaluation process in terms of performance, efficacy, and efficiency. So those evaluations can be used in order to ascertain efficiency of measures of local employee policies. As I spoke about the impact of training on employment recovery rate. We have also the example like experiment recruitment without CV. That's a kind of experiment, and it's really similar to what we saw yesterday for the field job net. I mean, that's a talent map you presented to us yesterday. I mean, there is a kind of a website. Employers and Pôle Emploi agents are working on a kind of form, and job seekers have to fill out this form online, and in fact they are recruited after with their abilities and no more with their CV. That's a new way of recruit people, and that was quite interesting. And we are waiting for the result of this experiment. Okay, so finally, I propose you 3 points so as to respond to this question about current trends and perspectives in improving labor market information service delivery. The first was an information that is tailored to each audience needs. The second about the provision of personalized information via the net. And the third one was about the better guide job seekers and especially adapt our service offer. Thank you so much.